Hey. So my name is Kayla. From the title, you could probably tell what it is that I need to get off my chest today. Been back and forth kind of about just putting it out there. Just want to preface everything with the fact that I am on a 40-day fast and prayer journey right now. So, we could thank God for putting this on my heart to put out there. Again, just something that's just been heavy on my heart and mind recently. And, I've been journaling and talking to a few friends here and there, but not really vocalizing it and just kind of putting it out there for those who may or may not need to hear this story to either, relate to or, just take bits and pieces as you will and just kind of apply it to your own circumstances or life journey, whatever you need to get from it. Hopefully you can get from it. But again, it's just something that I just kind of wanted to put out there. So obviously from the title, you can tell I just recently ended a very long-term relationship, 12 years, with a man that I have had 3 children with, beautiful babies, Camlin, Zora, and Sakai. So, I know you might be thinking, 12 years, 3 kids, like it couldn't have been all bad, which it wasn't. It wasn't all bad. It just didn't work out, which, sometimes things just aren't meant to work out with the people that are in your life. And I know you've heard the saying, some people are in your life for a season. Some people are in your life for a reason. So, I think I got both out of this. There were definitely reasons and seasons in this relationship, ups and downs. But again, it just didn't work out. Some days were, more toxic than others. Just kind of looking back at it, just everything I knew at a very pivotal point, and a change needed to be made when I could just tell that, everything began to decline for me. Mentally, depression kicked in, physically, hair falling out, emotionally, just crying all the time. I can't tell you how many times I've just cried and cried and cried, not wanting to get out of bed. And it just became very, very dark, which, you deal with it, right? You recognize it, and, it's not something that we want to do to end a long-term relationship with somebody that you really care about. And I want to make that a point as well, that no matter what I say during this video here, I have a lot of love. I have a lot of love and a lot of respect for my kid's father. He's a great guy, great dad. It just didn't work out, and sometimes just people just aren't meant to be together. But again, just kind of going back to what made me feel like I needed to pivot and make a change for myself, my babies as well, because, I wasn't taking care of myself, and, to where I always take care of my children. My children are always first. And, but I felt that I could have been a better parent for them, during those times. And I knew to where I recognized that all of those factors, all of those feelings and the emotional and the mental instability, I know all of that wasn't due to my relationship necessarily. 12 years is a long time. Like it's a very long time for life to happen to everyone involved. You lose people pass away, and you lose a job and have to deal with that. Just a lot of things that you have to deal with during that time frame. And it's literally 12 years. Like, I was pretty much a baby. I was 23 when we got together. So it's literally a time frame where you can be in like the caterpillar stages of your life and journey through that life to become a butterfly. So it's literally transitions that you make along the way, and you're getting hit with life left and right. So yeah, it was just a lot of life changes and experiences. But transitionally, my experiences seem to be, exacerbating the issues that were in my relationship, and vice versa. My relationship issues were making life a little bit harder for me to navigate, from being a mom, from being, just a human citizen and working and having to be a friend. And, I felt myself kind of isolating myself from the outside world just to kind of keep the peace in my home. Because, whenever you're going through things, which it felt like we were going through things a lot, you don't want to necessarily make it worse by going out, or at least that's just me. Because I know if I'm going to go out, then it's like, well, if you have time to go out, then you have time to be here and work on us. And it just gets to a point to where you just keep hitting the same wall and having the same conversations, and you just kind of get tired of it. And again, you just kind of have to make a choice for yourself. You throw in all of that emotional baggage that you're carrying and everything with your relationship and with yourself, and then throw in 3 kids in the mix, and you're headed for the twilight zone. I mean, you're at that point, you have kids, and your identity, it seems like, instantly shifts. It changes, right? You start to become everything you need for your kids. And then again, don't forget, you have a man that you need to care for as well. So now you're becoming everything that he needs you to be. You're becoming everything that they need you to be. And then you lose sight of who you need to be for yourself. So I want to go on record in saying that there's nothing wrong with being everything you need to be for someone else's needs. It's what we do as women, right? We're natural nurturers. So it's okay to be conformative to other people's needs. But the point is that you want a partner that's going to be supportive in those moments. You want a partner that's going to see you and reel you back in if they notice that you're starting to slip away. And that's what I was lacking. And that's what I was beginning to do. I was losing sight of who I was and what I needed, and putting all of my needs and desires and everything to the side so that I could take care of everyone else. So I definitely hope that someone can hear me on that one, because I know we all do it. We all do it, whether it be for work. We're working our butts off, being everything that our bosses need us to be, that our supervisors need us to be, that coworkers need us to be, just so that we can meet certain quotas and metrics and whatnot. But at the same time, it's like we're running off fumes, like we're not taking care of ourselves. So again, it could just be applied anywhere. Work, home, anywhere. So again, just to bring it all back, I mean, just sometimes things just don't work out, and that's okay. That's the part. That's okay. That if it doesn't work out, that's okay, but it has to be okay on your terms, right? No matter what your friends say, your parents say, no matter what your pastor say, what your nail lady say, it doesn't matter. They could be saying, girl, why are you still with him? Like, you should have been left him. It's like, okay, you're not in my situation. You don't know what it is that I have writing on this. And it's not just, it's not always just cut and dry like that. It's not always just black and white, like, oh, okay, I'm unhappy, let me leave. No, you want to fight. You want to put up the fight. You want to be able to exhaust all possibilities and all of your resources. So yeah, we did, the therapy and everything, but we still, again, through all of that, just went through a lot of transitions and a lot of ups and downs, and it was taking a toll on both of us, not just me. And it got to a point to where I couldn't be what he needed me to be, and he couldn't be what I needed him to be for me. So it just kind of just became a vicious cycle of, okay, it's like double dutch, right? Like, where do I jump in? Like, where do I jump in to start a change in this thing? Right? And 12 years, you don't make it 12 years without fighting and without some type of progress. But it's like for every 2 steps we took forward, it felt like we were getting knocked 10 back. And it was just like so constant. There would be brief periods of time to where you're like, you know what? I think we're gonna be good. Like, I think we can do this thing. We gonna rock this out. And then until you realize that, the bad starts to kind of outweigh the good, and you're having more bad days than good days. And then that's when you really got to kind of reflect and look in the mirror and make the decision like, hey, something got to change. And again, just going back to, it's not as cut and dry. It's not a simple decision ever. especially when you have kids in the midst. Like, you cannot just make an abrupt decision like, oh, I'm just gonna leave. Like, figure it out. No, because then you have to think about how, well, at least I did. And I was always that person. And it's crazy, the irony that's behind it, because I was always that person when I started having kids, because I always knew I wanted kids. I wanted kids from the get-go. I was like, you know how people grow up, like young ladies grow up and they're like, I can picture my future husband and I can't wait to have my perfect wedding. No, that wasn't me. I knew I wanted kids. I'm an only child, so I knew that I wanted multiple kids, and I always wanted a big family, right? I have family, but they're all scattered, right? I wanted a big family, like a immediate family. Either way, you think about, you know, I was always that person that was like, I'm not gonna stay in something and be unhappy just because of the kids, right? But then you're put in that situation, it's like, dang, like I gotta think about the kids. Like, you know, they're so impressionable at this age. So you want them to grow up seeing what a healthy relationship looks like. And so then you try to continue to fight through it. And you tell yourself, you know, it'll be okay and I'll make the sacrifice and everything. But what you don't know is that they see you struggling. They see you struggling. Because I can remember after ending the relationship, you know, I started to just feel so much peace, and like it's like a weight was lifted off of my shoulders, and was just like a breath of fresh air, just being able to have my own place to where I can come to and know that it's going to be peaceful. I don't have to walk through the doors and wonder what the mood, what the vibe is going to be like. Like, I know this is my place. This is my safe haven. Right? This is my safe space. So I can remember my oldest daughter, she's 9 years old, and she said, you know, Mommy, like, you look happy. It's like, baby, I am happy. It's like, I had to decide to choose me first. If I didn't, like, I wouldn't be anything to my babies. Like, they wouldn't have anything to go off of. It's hard for people to make that decision because you don't want to. You're gonna feel guilt, especially when you have kids. You're gonna feel guilt because now you feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm tearing up my family, and oh my goodness, my kids, you know, they're gonna hate me and this, that, and the other. And it's like, no, because even though circumstances change, you know, the one thing that doesn't change is your love for them. That's never gonna change. Your love for them. You know, if the father is still involved, if your partner is still involved, then their love is never going to change. As long as they still have that at the center of everything, then, you know, you have to trust in yourself and trust in, like, I believe in God. So and that was another thing that was absent from my relationship, was the presence of God. And I know exactly when I started to lose my sight, and my faith started to, you know, just kind of fall by the wayside when I lost my mother back in 2020. But that's a whole nother video. But that's the exact moment that I started to really lose, you know, my faith and understanding. And I just completely felt like, you know what, forget it. Like, I'm just gonna forget that aspect of it, and I'm just gonna rely on myself to make this happen. And that was the biggest mistake I could have made, was losing my faith. So now I'm finding my faith. So that just brings me to, you know, just kind of the next steps in my journey, you know, just finding myself. And everyone's healing journey is going to look different. Yours isn't going to look the same as mine. Mine isn't going to look the same as hers, and hers isn't going to look the same as theirs. But as long as you take that first step, and again, you have to do it for you. You have to do it for you. Baby, when I tell you, so many people were in my ear, like, girl. And it just got to a point to where you felt like embarrassed. Like, I'm an internalizer. Like, I'm a big internalizer. I internalize things a lot. Like, I keep things to myself, and, you know, I just kind of let things blow over. And then by the time they do, like, I don't want to rehash it. I don't want to come back and talk about it and bring it back up, because now I got to relive it. And then And then I feel like my issues and concerns are falling on deaf ears sometimes, because sometimes, you know, people just can't relate to what you're going through. Yeah, everyone's healing journey isn't gonna look the same. Hi, buddy. This is my Apollo. He's a Shorkie. He's a Shih Tzu Yorkie mixed. Hi, buddy. So yeah, just make sure that it's the right time for you. Make sure that, you know, you do all the things that you need to do. If it's, you know, journaling, going to church, or going to the movies, or just doing things for yourself, whatever that looks like. Just do it, you know, because it's never going to be the right time. It's never the right time really to do anything. It's never the right time to have kids. It's never the right time to get married necessarily. And I think I probably should draw attention to that. So I know it says that I'm divorced, but I mean, we didn't technically walk out an aisle. We didn't sign papers. We didn't, you know, go through lawyers and stuff to split up. So that was fortunate on my part, to have avoided all of that. And I think that just kind of foreshadowed just kind of where I saw my relationship going too. It was just never right. Not to say that there weren't attempts, like, yeah, like there were proposals and there were rejections, and it just never felt right. And I think that's the biggest takeaway, is that you have to listen to yourself. Listen to yourself. If there's that little voice inside of you that says, yo, run, you listen to that voice. Or if it's a voice in you that says, stay, fight, like this isn't the end, then stay and fight. But for all intents and purposes, I mean, we lived together, we had a house, we had kids, we stayed in the same residence for 7+ years, I think, is the guidelines for qualifying to be common law husband and wife. So yeah, by all of those definitions, we were married. We were living the married life, the whole nine. So it is essentially like going through a divorce, but you know, I didn't have to go through all of that. But yeah, I mean, just to kind of wrap it up, I mean, for those again who feel like they're journeying this life alone, it's scary. It's scary, and I knew it coming into it, because again, this wasn't, okay, you're shedding, Apollo, geez Louise, you need a groom. This wasn't my first rodeo. We had split up and got back together, and split up and got back together several times. So I knew just kind of what to expect, but this time felt different. Because it was so final, because it was just something that I knew I was done. So knowing that and kind of seeing it unfold and how final it was, that was scary. And now it's like the realization is setting in that, hey, I have these 3 impressionable little people here with me, and absolutely no help. And then you throw in, you know, hair day Sundays, to where all of their hair has to get done. And usually I'll have at least, you know, dad will be able to keep 1 or 2 of them occupied while I'm doing hair. But now it's just all on me. Grocery shopping, all on me. Doing a bulk run to Sam's Club, all on me. And it's okay. Like, it establishes a sense of just independence, which I'm a naturally independent person. I mean, sometimes I may be too independent, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with my independence. But again, whatever I need to do to obtain that peace, like, I'm gonna do it. So I am just in the era of me, and you're going to see, hopefully if you subscribe to this channel, you're just gonna see just kind of the life and day-to-day, what goes into it. I plan on pouring myself into my faith and myself and my kids, hanging with friends more and doing a lot of self-love. And I'm into concerts now, so I'm going to be doing concerts and plays and just anything that brings me joy. So again, baby, you are not alone. I'm here, and I will definitely bring some words of encouragement, as they come to me. again, during this period of 40 days of fasting and prayer, like it has very much brought clarity to my life. And I'm so thankful to God for being able to put this on my heart to finally get out here and put this out here. Because again, like, we don't always feel comfortable talking to those around us about these things because, you know, they're not going through it. And thankfully so. Like, I wouldn't wish this on, you know, my worst enemy. Like, this isn't ideal. This is not what I had in mind, but it is what it is. And we just kind of have to roll with the punches and put your faith in, you know, whatever you believe in, and trust that everything will be okay, because it will. It's going to be okay, and you're doing great. You are doing the best that you can. And if you have kids, your babies love you. And if nothing else, you need to lean into that, because they're watching, and we have to be examples for our babies, and they're going to be our biggest cheerleaders. So they're going to be the ones to get us through this trying period. And it's not the end of the world. It's not. I know it might feel like it in the beginning. You may have imposter syndrome, but baby, I tell you, you are enough. You are enough. I'm enough. We're all going to be enough together. So I definitely appreciate anyone who is watching this, and I hope that you could take something from it and just know that, again, you are not alone and you are enough. Love you guys. Mean it.